For some reason, the go buy button didn't go live. I don't know why, but you know what I got to say? Let's go Knicks. Oh, you know what? We got the 3-8 Giants today at home against the vaunted New England Patriots. The Patriots. The Belichick is coming back home. Is it a homecoming for good? Could he? But if the Patriots win today, could the Giants potentially be looking at a coaching change? Could there be something going on that we don't know about behind the scenes that maybe might bring the Belichick back in? If there's some unknown reason the Giants lose today, you have to think. Listen, the Patriots have a quarterback quandary just as bad as the Giants. I think the Giants' defense is better than the Patriots' defense. So at the end of the day, I kind of think that you have to look at this. Oh, I also have happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Was supposed to go to the game today. Got a lot of stuff going on at the house, so I don't want to get into it. But you know what? It's fun as always, though. That's why we're here to talk Giants. What do we got? Let's go into the chat real quick before I get ready for the my Knicks rant. We got a new 3-D video coming out Monday. Second says, attention, Tim. We'll be doing a dance once Daniel Jones is no longer a Giant. Isn't on the Atlanta Falcons. I could do that. That can't be tomorrow. No, it can't be. Wish it would be. All I want is a fifth round pick. I don't even want a fifth round pick. You can have him. Emmanuel says, I'm back in the States. Yo, Tim, what's going on, man? How was your trip? We got Greg all the way from Sweden going, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Zach Attack is sitting in the house going, sup, Greg? How is Sweden? Got LJ dropping in this big old morning. We got Chris saying, good morning to you. Vinny G says, Timothy, happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, everyone. Timmy, happy holidays to everyone else. So we got the Giants. We got the Patriots. I mean, I'm more excited about the Knicks playing today. I mean, after that big comeback win against the Miami Heat, down 21 points. RJ Barrett with the big stop. I'm ready. I'm ready for today. I got 2 jerseys on, but I'm ready. I got my Barrett jersey all just in case I got to wear both of them today. I don't know. I had the Barrett jersey on when we won, so I'm not sure. I got the Ewing jersey on now, so I'm not exactly sure. We got big old Don dropping in the super chat saying, what's up, Tim? What's up, Big Tim? Everything's good. We got Jeff Newman dropping on Tim. Joe Rev saying, good morning, Tim. Hey, everyone. How's everyone going? Chris C. Sanders says, what's up, Tim? Are we looking for a win today? Of course we're looking for a win today. You have to be looking for a win. Well, Zach, what's the Vegas odds right now? I got to call my producer. What's the Vegas odds right now for the Giants? You have to look for a win today. Now, my thing is this, though, and I feel kind of bad because, I mean, right now, Tommy DeVito is you know who Tommy DeVito is. Jersey Shore Tommy. Wait for the beat to drop. We got Jersey Shore Tommy out today, and he had the game of all games, and it wasn't even that great of a game, but it was a good game for him because he is an undrafted rookie free agent. Everyone loves him now. You have people in the press saying, "Well, Tommy could be the answer. Tommy could be on this roster next year. Tommy is the unfound gem." What happens today if he goes for 11 for 21 and 3 interceptions? What happens then? And that's the thing. I mean, you have NFL quarterbacks who've come in and played for short periods of time. Hell, Rex Grossman took his team to the Super Bowl. You've had these guys that come in and you want to look at them, you want to say, well, they're setting the world on fire. And then at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, they weren't as good as you thought they were. And I worry about that with poor Tommy because, like I said, so many people are hyping up poor Tommy now. And I see this shit on Twitter, and I'm just like, this is just crazy. We got Big Dog dropping in the super sticker. I love stickers. Everybody knows that. But you got this kid who could be a one-hit wonder. We don't know this yet. Let's give him a couple games. I mean, there are plenty. Derek Anderson. He played well at times. It wasn't the guy. What's his name? Drew Bennett. Don Magic Man Mikowski had one good season. You've even had the like Mark Sanchez, Matt Castle, Osweiler played well in 2015. Hell, Mike Glennon played well in 2023. Tommy Maddox came up big and strong in 202 for the Steelers. Who remembers Tyler Thigpen? Does anyone besides me know Tyler Thigpen, who threw for over 2,600 yards, 18 touchdowns for a team that went 2-14? Does anyone remember? Derek Anderson had that big year in Cleveland 7 where they went 10-6, made the Pro Bowl. Hell, Timmy Tebow went out there and took the team to the playoff game and beat the Steelers. Can we just think about that for a minute before we start anointing these people? What's up, Matthew? What's going on, Matthew? Jaden Daniels is the dude, Tim. Okay, I want to talk about the Patriots and stuff, but I want to talk about Jaden Daniels for a second. I could be wrong. He looks good. He's continued to impress. He's continued to move the needle. Has he pushed himself past Caleb or Drake May? I don't know. But I will tell you this. He's got some moves, man. He's got some skills. He's got the skills to pay the bills, Jaden does. And I like the way he moves. I like his ability out of the pocket. I like his running ability. Hell, he looks like a thinner Josh Allen at times. He does. And I think that if the Giants went that direction, I just want to put up super stickers because I like super stickers. Super stickers. He kind of has that something. And it's more on display. And like I said, he's not a guy that is a one season starter. He was over at Arizona State. You know, he's played for a while now. And he's moving forward and more forward. And he's having a great 2023 season. And, you know, he's still 6'3", 185. I like to see him bulk up a little bit. And I think he could do that in college. He's completed 72% of his passes, 3,812 yards. Averaging 11.7 yards a pass play. He went from average 8.7, 8.3, 7.9, 7.5 to 11.7, which means he's making things happen. He's got 40 passing touchdowns. Oh, and let's not forget that 1,134 yards and 10 touchdowns rushing. So he is responsible for 50 touchdowns for this team. I think I knocked out my headphones when I was doing Jersey Shore Tommy. Hold on, check. Oh yeah, I did knock out my headphone a little bit. He's looking the man. He's looking the part. Matthew says it's amazing how out of touch Giant front office is. Shane is in Mara. The avoidance of addressing the issue of DJ at quarterback. False hope for these backup quarterbacks. We cannot not just draft a QB. It also could be just a smokescreen. Don't forget the like button, guys. It could be a smokescreen. You know, you're not going to sit there and tell you exactly what they're going to do, you know? So, I mean, I'm not at that point yet, Matthew, but you know, the push of Jersey Shore Tommy is getting to be a little, is getting to be a little annoying. Let's see here. We got the questionable report. We got Trent Brown is questionable we got Bentley, the linebacker, is also questionable. You got Jonathan Jones, the defensive back, is questionable. You got Devontae Parker's questionable with the concussion. You got Slater, the other wide receiver, questionable with the ankle. You got the Wise, the defensive end, questionable as well. And let's see, for the Giants, let's see here. We got Dexter Lawrence is doubtful with the hamstring. Evan Neal looks like he is out. Darius Slayton looks like he's doubtful. Eric Gray is questionable. Eric Gray should be questionable why he's even on this roster. That should be the biggest question. Besides him being a draft pick of the Shane, why the hell is he even on this fucking roster? At a flash in the pan, there will be a film of them. Of course they will be. Unfortunately, Belichick will bring Tommy back down to earth. I don't know. Like I said, if you take a look at the injury report, if you take a look at New England, the way New England plays defense, I mean, they're vulnerable at times, and I think they can be vulnerable to the pass. I just think that this is one of these if you harken back to the days of yore with the Giants, this could be a because you're up against a 2-8 team. Is what's his name? Is Zappy starting? Is Bailey Zappy? I like Zappy. I mean, they have an okay running game. They don't have a sustainable running game with Elliott but you got Zeke Elliott, the giant killer, and Stevenson. The wide receiving core outside. What's his name? Bourne. You're all. I'm not afraid of their offense, but then at the end of the day, I don't think they're afraid of our offense. Are they going to get up on? Is their defense, like you said, I think their defense is a lot better than their offense, but that's not saying much. This is the battle of the bad teams. That's what this is. This is truly the battle of the bad teams. I love this. Tyler Thigpen, the former Bills legend. Yeah, but that was with the Kansas City Chiefs when he threw for 3,800 yards and he was like 2-14. Let's see. I want Jaden. Shane can't mess this up. I agree. I think that you have a quality head coach in Bill Belichick, whose legacy will always be tied to Tom Brady, to number 12. And I think Tom Brady proved that a lot of Belichick's legacy was built off him, number 12. And because he went to Tampa and he won a Super Bowl and New England got Mac Jones. Kind of the rest is history. But he's the kind of coach that sees a person starting for the third game. You got a little bit more film on him. You can understand some more of his tendencies. You're not going to be. I don't think Belichick and his team are going to be surprised by anything that the Giants do. I think the Giants should win, which pains me to say because then we're going to have to hear how this 4-8 team can still make the playoffs. I think they can win because they're a bad team. And I think, honestly, this might be the Giants' last win of the season. If you want to look at it realistically, I kind of think this could be the Giants' last potential win of the season. Because you're going to be going up against some teams that, even though they have issues, like the Giants' next game, of course, is going to be against the Packers on the 11th, and that may be flexed. So then you have the Saints in New Orleans. We're losing that one. You got the Eagles at home, at their home. We're losing that one. I don't think I just have this feeling about the Rams game that we're losing that one. And I kind of think the Eagle game may be important because of the way Dallas is playing. So you're probably losing that one. So there's an opportunity for us to win some games here, at least this week. But like I said, you have the old ball coach. And that's what kind of concerns me. Trent Dilfer didn't do anything for that 2000 team. Todd said it just sucks. We can only have the season without paying the other dope $60 million. They screwed the team up for 2 more years with that idiocy. That's all I care about. They really did. I mean, Todd's not wrong. You can't sit there and don't hit the like button. You can't sit there and deny Todd's wrong because he's not. Belichick is proving Brady made him, not the other way around. He's just mid without Brady. And I joke about Belichick coming back to the Giants. I joke about that because none of these reunions ever work out. You have all these you have coaches that leave after being a success and they come back and they never work out their second tenure. And I think that's why Bill Parcells never came back to the Giants. That's why I think he went to New England, the Jets, the Cowboys, and then the front office in Miami because it just you never want to ruin that legacy. And all you can ever do, unless you win a Super Bowl, especially if you're a Super Bowl winner for a former team, is you're going to ruin that legacy. You never want to do that. Jaden, is that what the Giants need with a bad O-line? Listen, I went back and watched a bunch of Arizona State games that their highlights were available for. And then I watched the last 6 games. I think 6 games. Last 6 games, I think it was, for Jaden Daniels. And I'm going to tell you this. There is a natural progression. There is you could see a natural flow from where he started to where he is now. The improvement, the swing of improvement, and to the point now that it's just kind of weird that he's really stepped up to a different level. And statistically, he's better than Drake May. Statistically, he's better than Caleb Williams. So it's It's just kind of interesting. Now, will that translate into the pros? College stats don't move into the pros. You could throw for 10,000 yards in one season in college. That doesn't mean anything. Once it's with the first pick, the New York Football Giants select. Once that happens, those are all out the window. You could forget about those. Zacatech says, I want Tommy DeVito to do well because it's different than Daniel Jones. He's playing for a backup role. I want Tommy DeVito to do well because I think it's bad to say. Every time Tommy DeVito throws a touchdown pass, it's a nail in the coffin of Daniel Jones's giant career. Because it just proves that you don't need Daniel Jones at $160 million a year to be successful. Any Daniel Jones enthusiast should look at what Tommy DeVito does and cry. And maybe wince a little every time he throws a touchdown pass. Because he's doing it for nothing. He's doing it probably for rookie minimum. But think about that. You paid $160 million a year that went 1-4 and threw what, 2 touchdowns? Had one good half against an Arizona team that went to a Tampa 2 and stopped blitzing in the second half because they were trying to sit on a lead. And a possible pinch starter. I agree with that. Been saying it for weeks now. Don't sleep on Daniels. He is for real. I'm not saying he's not. I would like to see him bulk up. I like to see him put a little meat on those bones, especially at 6'3". And then I wonder, is he really 6'3" or is he college 6'3"? So we have to wait and see. A franchise quarterback will do or with an O-line. Did Arizona Flames blame Josh Rosen, player of the O-line? No, they got rid of him. But no, Mara's got to stop himself to mediocre fool. It's Jones. I agree. Pimp names Slickback says, Tim, I like the kid from LSU. Man, something about him. I like I said, we got all these people talking about Jaden Daniels. Might be the guy for us. He's special. Right now in LSU, he is special. Will that translate into the pros? I don't know. Is he probably improving his draft stock right now? Yes, but then you have to kind of wait to see what happens at the combine and his pro days. Right now, like I said, if you watch his progression from Arizona State to where he is now, he's been playing football in college, what, 5 years? He's made that. The one thing I always hate is when people take those quarterbacks that have one big season or one starting season. I always go back to Akiwi Smith. I always go back to Dwayne Haskins, RIP. They had the one big season and nothing before that. Jaden's got some skills. Jaden's played. He's learning. He's seeing. And sometimes anyone that's ever played a competitive sport at a higher level, we will tell you this. There are moments where, especially if you go up a level, there are moments where you figure it out and everything just seems to work for you. It's like the light switch is like clicked off on your head. Oh, okay. If they do this, I do this. And it almost becomes instinct. And I'll tell you right now, Jaden right now, if you watch him play, he is playing instinctively. It's almost like he just knows what to do. And he didn't know what to do back at times Arizona State. But now he kind of looks like he knows what to do. He's special. He is. Where's my special? I always love this clip. Plus, I want to drink some coffee. Wait, what was that one? I don't know what that one is. Hold on, wait a minute. Where's my special one? I'm gonna find it. Everyone pretend this didn't happen. Where is he? Oh, here you go. You know what he is? Let's see. He's special.
I don't know what the fuck you just said, little kid. But you special, man. You reached out and you touched it by the heart.
He could be touching the heart of online Big Blue. He could be. I got to watch more film, but he does look special. If Washington gets Jaden Daniels, we're done. And if Washington gets a quarterback, we're done. We're toast. We'll be toast for like the next 5 years unless we find someone special. Matthew says Jaden Daniels is what the Giants want Jones to be, but Jones doesn't have the resume. I don't think that the Giants wanted Daniel Jones to be Jaden Daniels-esque. I think they wanted him to be Eli Manning. And what freaks me out about Drake May, you watch Drake May play and you look at him statistically and you look at him, we talked about instinct a moment ago with Jaden Daniels, but if you look at him play, he reminds you so much of Eli in college. And I didn't really watch Daniel Jones in college because no one did, but he reminds you so much of like Eli in college, and which then translate to Daniel Jones. No, I just don't want that. Oh no, Gray. What did we do? Gray's back. Gray's back. David said, at this point, do you see the Giants trying to trade up and make and include a starter behind the beside? I don't think they're going to need to trade up. I think you'll be in the top 10. I think there are a number of quarterbacks, unless there is a special quarterback that the Giants really want, then I see them moving up. And I've said it before, and you know, we've talked about it a million times, because you have the great Carl Banks.
A quarterback, they can't do anything if they have a bad offensive line.
We've seen Carl talk about that numerous times. But the problem is, a good quarterback can make your offensive line look better. Hell, Jaden Daniels would probably make the offensive line look a hell of a lot better. Why was Gray even drafted? My grandmother runs faster. He is pretty slow. He's slow and he's got no burst. Todd says we might come back to the earth, but New England quarterback will keep his team. No, that's the other thing. New England doesn't have a quarterback. We got Zeppo the Lighter playing, maybe? Did they even say who they're starting today? Is it Zeppo? I don't know. Somebody's calling him Zeppo. We're going to call him Zeppo. Eric Gray should be moved to little back. He should be. Even New England is smart enough to cut Jones and not extend him. Yeah, I mean, I hated it when everyone said, this is such a great deal. And then the things came out about the deal, and I kept saying, this is not a good deal. And I said it either by hook or by crook, either by injury or lack of play. If he fails, you're going to set the team back another 4 or 5 years. We're going to see a lot of 8 in the box on from both. We are. You're going to see the guys stack the line. You are going to see the guys trying to have everyone go out and make something and makes them beat you. That's what you're going to see. Joe can mess it up by drafting Bo Nix. I saw the Bo Nix rumors. I saw the JJ McCarthy rumors. Like I said, I would rather have Bo Callahan over Bo Nix. Let's see here. Let's see. Might beat the Rams with Tyrod. I don't know if they're going to beat the Rams. The Rams still have a good offense. They just need to kind of put it together again. I think Brian Dale was a good coach. He just needs a good quarterback to run the team on the field. Here's my problem with that statement, and I'm not picking on you. Anyone could be a good coach with a great quarterback. Look at Bill Belichick. Tom Brady left. Where do we go from there? We need to worry more about the Jets losing out. Now we do have to worry about the Jets, actually, because they could be in a quarterback market as well. 4 wins. Matt says, where do you put us in the draft? What about 5th? If we get 4 wins, if you look at the draft right now, we're 5th right now. We could be anywhere between 7 to 11. Depending on how it shakes out. If Tommy DeVito beats the Packers and the Eagles somehow, they'll literally talk about his future in the league. If he beats the Packers and the Eagles, Tommy DeVito, $470 million over 2. That's going to be Twitter. $470 million over 2. Our GM's been to LSU games to see him. Yeah, our GM's been to Shane's been to a lot of games to look at quarterbacks. He did that last year too, and we still got stuck with Daniel Jones. We're still riding the Daniel Jones train. Hung Dave says, do you think we're drafting a running back? Eric Gray was not it. And I feel bad for Eric. I really do feel bad for Eric Gray. I've met Eric Gray. He's a good kid. You know, he's and like I said it before, when I'm bigger than the running back, when I'm broader than the running back, when I'm taller than the running back, he's supposed to be baby quads, and I got big quads too. But I was like, I think I could tackle you. And then you look at his film in college, and he gets pulled down behind, and he has a tendency to avoid contact and run out of bounds, and you don't really see that initial burst. Yeah, he was a good pick. I like him though. Good kid. I really do like him. College football is fun, but you never know what that until you get into the pros. It's a really two different games, 100%. Pimp names like the different. Apparently, Daniel Jones truther is not wanting Bo Nix. I don't want Bo Nix. I don't think anybody should want Bo Nix. I mean, I don't think Bo Nix is a bad guy, but Bo Nix has got some. I think Bo Nix has got a little bit of baggage on him. I think that if you look at we talked about looking at the totality of the career of Jaden Daniels, you kind of do the same thing with Bo Nix. You know, Bo Nix has been playing since 19, and he's had 2 good seasons with better talent, where he had 29-7, 37-2. He's completed 71% of his passes last year, 78.6% of his passes this year. I don't know. I just don't see it. Oh, they want him now. Okay. LJ says, read something yesterday. What's up, LJ? That our front office likes JJ McCarthy. Thoughts? I haven't watched too much. I'm going to tell you this about JJ McCarthy. You see these things about him now, and he's just another one of these guys at 6'3", 197 pounds. He's been with Michigan now since 21. He played a little bit as a freshman. He had 22 and 5 last year for over 2,000. He's got 2,400 yards, 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Michigan does not. He kind of, and I've said this before, he kind of reminds me of Jim Harbaugh when he was the quarterback in Michigan. The way that Michigan plays with their quarterback, and I don't know if that's going to translate well into the NFL. Mike Lee says, Tim, in your opinion, what is the most important, combine, pro day, or relatively the same? I think your pro day is most important. I think the combine, like they said before, the combine is like a bikini show, like the bathing suit competition in Miss America. The pro day, you get a little bit more into the nitty gritty. I know it's scripted, but I think you get. I mean, honestly, I think it's a combination of everything from your interviews to your pro day to your college. I mean, it's and what the team thinks. Guilty says all the top quarterbacks under the draft are better than DJ. Yeah, you're not wrong. As a Michigan fan, I'm starting to lean towards JJ McCarthy. I believe that Harbaugh's offense holds him back. He has a rocket arm, great with finding the window. He's definitely a sleeper. But the problem is this with the sleeper. You can't take a sleeper that high in the first round. And like I said, he reminds me of when Jim Harbaugh, number 4, played over at Michigan. That's what he reminds me of. And Jim Harbaugh's career was pedestrian at best. Tim, says Fabian. OG says, Tim, the sad thing is the Giants won't draft a black quarterback. So you look at it like Drake May or JJ McCarthy. I mean, if you go back into the annals of football history, no, the Giants are not known for drafting black quarterbacks. They've never done it. They've started 2 in the last 100 years. And they have one black quarterback with 1 win in 100 years. I'm not saying it's racism. Sometimes it's just the way it falls. Let's see here. Good morning, Coach Dave. What's going on? Cheers, says the chat with big old James Williams. James Williams, Robin. Hope everyone had themselves a good holiday. Big Dom with the super chat. Loving the fact that the underwear Olympics, Tim. It is the underwear Olympics. I actually didn't coin that phrase. I heard that phrase in Tampa. And I actually heard that from Gruden. That it's the underwear Olympics. That actually stuck with me for a long time. And I always laugh because I always hear it's the underwear Olympics. OG said, let's see here. Good morning. We got Coach Dave. We got LJ. We better lose today, says James. Coach Dave says the cure for a bad offensive line is a quarterback that can make shit happen. Jaden Daniels. Coach, we've been talking about Jaden Daniels since since this stream first clicked on. And I'm going to say it again. If you watch his progression from Arizona State to where he is now at LSU and the amount that he's played and how he played last year compared to this year, and I hearken it to a player, and like I said, I use it from my own experience, that when you go to a higher level and finally figure it out, it's like the light switch goes on. And it's kind of like for Jaden this year, these last 6 games, the light switch has gone on. It kind of reminded me of Hendon Hooker before he got hurt. It's like last year, the light switch at Tennessee, the light switch kind of went on for him. And you see things and you start playing more instinctively. And I kind of think that's what Jaden's doing right now. He's playing instinctively. Don't forget to hit the like button, please. LJ, my brother. We got Fabian saying, but why have a quarterback that can make the line better rather than fixing the dang offensive line for once? Because honestly, it's a lot, not in the Giants case, but in normal football fashion, it's a lot easier to find an offensive lineman than it is to find a franchise quarterback. Giants fashion is kind of, well, no, Giants fashion is kind of both. Tom Brady was a pocket passer. He made his own line better. He did. He did. And that's the thing. We got Zappy is the star. Listen, anytime you got a quarterback named Zappy, we call him Zippo. Anytime you got a quarterback named Zippo starting and he looks like a lighter. What's up, Hirsch, for real? How you doing, my brother? Pimp Dang Slick back. Apparently, Andrew Thomas, Dexter Lawrence have been playing through injuries. What exactly is the point of that? The season is lost. Coaching staff needs to make cautious with injuries. Because you can't just give up on the season. I agree 100%. If Andrew Thomas is playing through an injury, do you really want to risk him in the middle of a 3-8 season? Same thing with Dexter Lawrence. You just gave both of these guys huge chunks of money. And what? Let's just say best case scenario, you win 6-7 games. What was that worth to you? You don't need to see Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence progress anymore. They're at Pro Bowl levels. You don't need to see what they. We got to see what they have. We got to see what they are. We don't need to see that because we know what they are. We paid them. Of course, we also paid Daniel Jones. But I mean, at this point in time, what's the risk? Kevin says if the Giants want to help their defense, help this defense draft a quarterback. You're wrong. I agree. A quarterback, a good to great quarterback, even as a rookie, Joe Burrows, the Duck, can make you look like a genius. Brian Dable came out and basically said, Josh Allen made me look like a better play caller. And he's a head coach of another team. The hell's wrong with that? The quarterback, Fabian says, needs to make a line better consistently, will never have success in the long run. Yes, but you know what? I think Burrows went to a Super Bowl. I'm not positive on that. I think Eli Manning won a Super Bowl with one of the worst offensive lines in the league in 2011. Not certain about that. It can happen. Walla 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 says, Bo Callahan had no friends. No one came to his birthday party. It's my party and I'll rhyme if I want to. That is true. No one came to his, and he took the 100 of the back of the playbook. What an ass that Bo Callahan. But look at him throw that rock. Well, I got R0B going. What's up, Tim? Kevin said, what's going on? What's going on, Kevin? Everything's going good. Hirschfield says, Giants need to target Jaden Daniels. He is the best quarterback in the draft. Reminds you of CJ Stroud. I mean, I think everyone, I mean, if we took a poll right now.
That's what she said.
Sorry. Let's do this. I have a theory. We got 70 plus people in the room. I got a theory here. Right now, I want everyone to put down in the chat, if you were the New York Football Giants and you had to draft a quarterback in 2024, who would it be? So I want everyone to put in who, if you were the Giants and you had to take a quarterback in 2024, who you would draft. I want to test a theory here. I have theories in my life. Vinny G says we will know one quarterback bust whenever the Jets pick. That's a good point. Whatever the Jets looking at, we go the opposite. So put in the chat right now, who, if you were if you were a Giant GM and you had to take a quarterback, who would you take? I'm curious about this. I'm really curious about this. Let's see. Hirsch for real says Bo Nix has baggage that Saint fans from the 80s. Bo Nix is the future of the Washington Commandos. We got Zach Attack. Let's see. To be fair, Tim, you're probably bigger than Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith. That's not necessarily a metrics for being a good running back. You know what? Actually, the funny thing is, I never met Emmitt Smith. I met Barry Sanders. Emmitt Smith was 5'9", but Emmitt Smith was also one of these, he was high. He was 5'9", 220 pounds. And I met Barry Sanders, I would say 5-6 years after his playing career. I think it was after it was like 5-6 years after his playing career. And he was 5'8" back in his playing day and still over 200 pounds, 200 something pounds, 221 pounds. He was they looked the part of a running back. Let's see. What's up, Hirsch for real? What's up, James? Isn't Michigan a run heavy team? Yes, that's why I'm saying Michigan. I don't see the JJ thing. James says no. Only if it's Jimmy JJ Walker. Let's see here. I also, like I said, put in the chat right now, guys. Come on. We got some more people going. Put in the chat right now. I'm curious if you are the Giants and you were told you have to take a quarterback in the 2024 draft. What quarterback would it be? JJ McCarthy's written day 3 all over him. Jaden says, let's see. Hirsch for real says Jaden can find the window better than the 3 guys who escaped Alcatraz. Allegedly escaped Alcatraz. There actually is a good documentary by Josh Gates on Destination Unknown where they actually tracked them down to Argentina. For those that don't know, I bet the Giants trade up for Drake, and that would be bad. Drake is a better fit for New England. I laugh because you know who was a great fit for New England? Mac Jones. They will get him paid. It's a business that you need to get paid to produce, not show up and not play. Got to be serious. I don't disagree. Like I said, my thing is this though: if they are truly injured and they're okay. Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence. I will tell you this. Excuse me. I'll tell you this from experience. There's a difference between being hurt and there's a difference between being injured. Being injured usually means you need surgery. And if you play, you can have more of an opportunity to cause damage to what is happening. If you are hurt, you take a shot and you go out and play. Because the doctors, and I'll tell you this is what I laugh about the whole crap with Daniel Jones that he could have played that day. Because the coaching staff will tell their head coaches all the time, he can't play. And the first question the coaches will ask if you allow a guy to play hurt is, can he do any more damage to whatever the injury is, to whatever the pain is? Can he do any more damage to it? And that's the difference. So if these guys are truly injured and need surgery in the offseason, then you can't play them. Let's see here. Greg says we need Caleb. Knows how to improvise. What's up, Mijay Gente? What's going on? I hope you guys had a great holiday. We got Tommy DeVito through 3 touchdowns, which is better than Daniel Jones. Let's see here. Jaden Daniels is the bar. Here we go. This was the question I asked for everyone. If you were a New York Giant GM and you were forced in 2024 to take a quarterback, who would it be? And we're getting the results in, so let's see. Draft Daniels, of course. We got May. We got Daniels. We got Penix. We got May. Let's see the opposite of Jaden Daniels. We got Daniels. We got Caleb. Let's see. We got Caleb. We got Daniels. We got Caleb, Williams, or Daniels. We got Caleb or Jaden. We got Caleb. We got Caleb. I like this one. Caleb, Mix, May. Oh, you got a list. Caleb, May, Mix, and Daniels. You got Penix. Let's see. Heart of a Giant says Caleb or Jaden. Bonix is the guy you would draft 3 years later, and he'd be talking about all the things he doesn't have around him. Well, that sounds like a quarterback we have now. Let's see here. Daniels, of course. Jaden has the it factor. We got Caleb and we got May. So the consensus in my mind right now, looking through that, is you want either Caleb or Daniels. I would say that there is a let's see here. Schedule a start of a live stream or premiere. The bottom of the chat window, create your poll, then ask your community. That is how I don't want to do that, Jack. It's like fucking work. That's work. We don't do that here. We fly by the seat of the pants. We are the Iceman of giant content creators. We don't do that. We just fly cool and smooth until you make a mistake and then we pounce. That just too much work. I don't know if I can do that. Caleb, we say Drake May, Williams. Let's see. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. So in my opinion, like I said, the consensus seems to be either Daniels or Williams. So what is telling me, if I collected data and used it in the analytical business sense, what it's telling me is the Giant fans want to see an athletic quarterback who has mobility, creatability, a strong arm, a high upside, a little bit of speed, has some running ability, and can make those around him better. Interesting. That tells you something. That tells you a little tiny bit about this, doesn't it? We need someone special and dynamic, not the quarterback that looks a little part. I agree. I was just telling you how to do it if you ever wanted to do it. No, I'm never going to do it, Zach. Never going to do it. Please. That's effort. Like when I played, it was all natural talent, baby. No effort. Actually, it was the opposite. It was no talent at all effort. Coach Dave says, what content creators do you watch? Well, I watch this great guy online, Big Blue Sports. He's got a new podcast that just dropped with a new episode coming out. And that episode is 3-D, the New York Knicks 2023 season. We had a really nice episode that dropped the other day. We got a lot of good downloads. We got a lot of good views. So I am extremely appreciative of that. I don't watch, Coach Dave, I don't watch any content creators. I'm going to tell you why. Because I've seen you in the chat once in a while, Dave, but Coach Dave, I'm going to give you the moniker of the coach. I always say I never want to cloud my opinion with someone else's opinion because I have my own opinion. And I think there is a lack of honesty and truth in reference to a lot of content creators that they do it for. We talked about it before. They do it for the likes, the clicks, the bleeps, and the boops. And they don't actually report news. And I find it being a disservice because of the fact that I've said this before. You have a younger fan base growing up in Gen Z and Gen Y and Gen Alpha, Beta, Gamma that are coming up who use YouTube as their source of information. And when all you do is ever preach everything is wonderful and never question things, doesn't do that. It doesn't do the fan base any good. We have a fan base that we have now. Mike Lee says Archie looked good Friday, but can't wait that long. We're not going the Archie Manning round. Fabian says, does anyone honestly think Shane is focusing on USC, NC, Washington, Oregon? Let's be serious. I don't know who's focused. I don't know what Shane's focusing on. Let's see here. Shane has personally scouted all the top quarterbacks in this draft. He has. Let's see here. Hello, what's up, Frank? The sounds of Sinatra and the way you look tonight with a Herva Mark. Let's see. Chase Daniels is credited 5 sacks to Tommy DeVito. I like Chase Daniels. He does. Zach, you sent me some videos from the Florida quarterback, Chase Daniels. He's done some good content. He's broken down some nice. He's broken down some nice plays. So many quarterbacks in college this year would have a lot of great traits. I am down with whoever Shane decides to go with. Here's my thought process. About this, and I've talked about this. I didn't trust Gettleman. And when he drafted the quarterback, who we shall not be named, over a linebacker out of Kentucky, number 41, who's racking up sacks again in Jacksonville. And I love it because when I always said it because I loved it when the Giants drafted because Tom Coughlin was running the Jags. And literally in the middle of the draft, the New York Giants with the 6th overall pick select Daniel Jones, quarterback, Duke. And literally before he finished Duke, you heard, and the Jacksonville Jaguars pick is in. They take linebacker Josh Allen, Kentucky. I mean, he literally ran up the card. Take this before they change their mind. Smash that like button. Respect him, Big Blue family. What's up, Chris? Was talking to you a little bit the other day. Hope that everything went well. Big super chat from the Fabian saying, exactly, my eyes opened up with all these content creators. And like I said, you just got to tell the truth. The truth shall set you free. And you know, and like I said, I had we have a new partner that's going to be coming on next 2 weeks, and I had a professional company look at my channel and my videos and stuff, and they said, if you are so good, you are so funny, you're so informative, but if you were just a little bit more, if you were just a little bit more, and I love it because the guy was trying to say, if you're just a little bit more, positive about everything. And I was like, what do you mean be positive about everything? Well, just because something's bad, maybe you need to put a positive spin on it. Like there's 3-8. Talk about how they're a good 3-8. And I hung up on the guy. James says, hit that like button. Please smash it. Give me Jaden Daniels for 3rd and schlong. It looks like Jaden's the guy. Zach says, I figured Chase Daniels, the former quarterback, would enjoy the content because he came from someone who played in a league, not from a D4 lineman. We all know who that is. Coach Dave says, Eli, DJ, May are all the same thing. This is a team needs to come into the modern era of football. I agree. And I agree. And like I said, we've seen the consensus seem to be with Giant fans, May or Daniels. I mean, I still think Caleb's got to be the guy. But to the point I was making, I didn't trust Gettleman, but I'm going to trust Shane. Why? I don't really know, because Shane is the one that re-signed Jones, and I've said this before. The moment the ink dried on that Jones contract, it was no longer a Gettleman guy. It was now a Shane guy. So this told me that was his thought process in reference to bringing in a quarterback, and I don't know if that thought process was that great. Do we have someone in Tommy DeVito? Well, we always have someone in someone. I don't know. We've talked about the you weren't here earlier. We talked about the one-hit wonders at quarterback. And these are guys that, that flamed out, and everyone thought they had something, and they turned out they didn't. We talked about Tyler Thigpen, we talked about, the likes of Rex, Rex Grossman. You even talked about the likes of like Trent Dilfer. You got Derek Anderson. We talked about who had the Pro Bowl season in Cleveland, took that team to 10-6. These were great short-term guys, but then at the end of the day, they just flamed out and disappear. How many people have heard of Tyler Thigpen? He threw for over 20. He quarterbacked a 2-8 team in KC, threw for over 2,600 yards. So Tommy Maddox, career journeyman, one good year, not even a great year, one good year with the Steelers, and then he disappeared. Same with Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow played well enough to get Denver to a playoff game, beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, I don't know. I have to wait and see what happens. We talked about it before, and you know this, Frank. We have to wait to see what happens when the league gets film on a guy. When a guy comes out and there's no film whatsoever, you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know what he's capable of. You don't know what his tendencies are. But now more and more film is being, this is game 3. So now more and more film is being compiled on Jersey Shore Tommy. And we have to wait and see what the league does. That's why I'm curious what happens today, because I will say the Belichick, while he is tied eternally to Tom Brady, is smart enough to figure out how to go up against a rookie quarterback. And we all hope Jersey Shore Tommy. Wait for the beat drop. We all hope he does well. We all hope he performs well. We all hope he excels. We all hope he continues to figure it out. But like I said, as soon as the league starts figuring it out, that's when we get worried. I agree with Coach Dave. We need to step into a new era at quarterback. It is time. Fabian says, a certain content creator told me I don't watch college football, but yet he only watches Washington, North Carolina, Oregon, USC games. I watch a lot of college football. I'll be honest. I enjoy watching football. I enjoy watching basketball. Probably enjoy watching basketball more than I enjoy watching football, but I enjoy watching football. And I love it because my wife the other day, because I had one of the TV service we have, you could put 4 games on your screen at once. So I got it up on the big movie screen, and I got the 4 games going. I'm watching, I'm clicking back and forth, and you're listening to the sound. And she goes to me, and I love it because she goes to me, why are you watching college football? I said, well, I enjoy, I said, I like watching football. I like watching college football. And she goes, but you've been watching a lot of college football lately. I said, well, it's a college football season. And she goes, it has nothing to do with the Giants suck. I was like, well, I said, I enjoy watching good football. So, but I thought that was great. What's the good part of a 3-8 team? Hadn't you hung up on him? You shouldn't have seen it coming. I should have, but I don't. I try to. You got to try different things, I'm always told. I don't know why. Drake, we all know that Mara's behind the Jones signing. We do, Frank. Zach Dex says, if Daniel Jones plays Washington with 9 sacks, he could have lost by double digits. I do agree with that. I will give this about Jersey Shore Tommy. He does have a better understanding and a better ability of looking down the field and keeping his eyes down the field. Does he have better pocket presence and pocket awareness than Daniel Jones? I would say it's a slightly better than Daniel Jones, but if something's terrible and you're only a little bit terrible, you're definitely better. And that hence with the 9 sacks. He's got to learn to get rid of the ball. He's got to learn to just throw the ball away. He's got that big picture windup. If you ever watch, and like I said, we've kind of shown it with the this thumbnail here. If you watch him, he's kind of got a pitcher's windup. It's not he's not Mahomian with a compact windup that he can, you throw 3/4, you can throw over the shoulder. I mean, he can throw over the top. I mean, he's got this kind of like a pitcher windup, and that worries me that it's going to take longer for him to get the ball out of the pocket. And I don't think he is going to ever fully have the capability of getting away from the rush because he does take so long to get the ball out of the pocket. Draft whatever quarterback that keeps DJ under center for the next 2 years is the only way. Who remembers the Bills legend from Florida State, EJ Manuel? I remember EJ Manuel. I remember when the Bills took EJ Manuel. And I remember seeing him at Florida State, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get what Buffalo was doing. I mean, I understand sometimes you reach for a quarterback, but I don't get it. Tommy DeVito is improving. He is improving. He is an undrafted rookie free agent. So you have to give him, and don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to put the needle on the record. Make sure you hit that like button, guys. He is an undrafted free agent quarterback out of Illinois, went to Syracuse first. He's doing what he's doing. He's doing what he's doing. Link. Rock. Okay, I love playing these word association games. Tommy DeVito figured out throwing the ball to number 26 is a good thing, and I do agree with that 100%. He figured out you throw the ball to 26, who had 90-plus receptions with Eli Manning under center, and then all of a sudden his reception totals when Daniel Jones took over went, and then people are like, well, he doesn't know how to catch the ball, Saquon Barkley. Maybe if the quarterback doesn't throw him the ball, it makes it a little bit more difficult to catch the ball. And maybe when your quarterback throws you into contact consistently, you don't want to catch the ball. Because you kind of anyone that's ever played will tell you this. You know, you always hear about Zach Wilson and seeing ghosts. There is a time that you hear footsteps. And if you get I told the story once where I had to go in and play tight end. And I went in for like 2 series and played tight end. And the first play I looked great. Oh, I was amazing. And then the second play, the coach was like, well, we're going to send you out on a pass route. I'm like, oh, okay. And just thinking I was a decoy, and the quarterback threw me the ball, and I got walloped because I didn't see the defender. I mean, I got crushed. And I will tell you this, I was hearing footsteps the next time the ball was hiked. The next time the ball was snapped, I was hearing footsteps. Because you're like looking around like, what the fuck? Because it just gets into your mind. And then when you continuously throw someone into contact, like Daniel Jones has done to Saquon Barkley, that's 3-4 years. Sometimes you hear footsteps. I'm not saying Barkley's hearing footsteps, but I will tell you this. He looks a lot better catching the ball with Tommy DeVito. Zach RGB wants to apologize to Bobby Johnson. What's up, Skyline? He's doing good. Tommy DeVito. What's up, Tony B? Tony DeVito's good and a great story, but DJ is light years better. It's Daniel Jones.
Gentlemen, which brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
We always have to have that PSA out there. Coach Dave says, if we drafted Bo Nix, I might start handing in my damn cards. If we draft Bo Nix, I quit. Just quit. I should rephrase. If we draft Bo Nix in the first round, I quit. If we take him in latter half of the second or the third, then I'm okay with it. If we don't draft a quarterback who wants to see or hear from me all next season, we have to get a quarterback. We'll be watching the Knicks. Tommy's windup reminds me of Ryan Tannehill's windup. If you want to put a consensus in reference to his throwing motion, yes, Ryan Tannehill would be a good example. And Ryan Tannehill has performed admirably with that type of throwing motion. But like I said, I think the talent level is different between Tannehill and Tommy. And like I said, if you have such a elongated, long windup, you are going to get a lot of balls batted down before you even get it over your shoulder. So we have to wait and see. And I think you're going to see a lot of guys swatting at the ball today. I would just, as a point of contention, like I always tell people, what we need to do today is watch the way the defensive line of New England plays. I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of swatting. And I'm not talking you always as a defensive lineman, you're always putting your hands up. You're always taught to put your hands up and jump when they throw the ball in front of you. But as a rush, you see, I'm going to tell you this, just watch. I think you're going to see a lot of linebackers, a lot of defensive linemen, a lot of blitzing safeties coming in and trying to swat the ball out of his hand. Because like I said, the motion, dance now, come on, baby, do the locomotion. That motion worries me. Frankie says we will never move forward until the third generation inherits Silver Spoon. Douche gets his name out of personnel. Wellington had to be saved. Oh my God. Okay, last time I'm going to tell this story, Frank. The NFL did not tell the Giants or make the Giants sign Wellington Mara. Wellington has talked about this. This is in Roselle's book. After the Miracle in the Meadowlands, the Pasarchik Zonka fumble, Wellington went to Pete Rozelle and said, can you recommend a young guy who can come in and spearhead the franchise and help us bring it into the next millennium or next year and help us develop and bring in talent? And he recommended George Young out of Baltimore. There was no force of the NFL for them to go out and sign George Young. The NFL did not do this. This is like one of the biggest misconceptions I've heard numerous times through giant content creators and everything else. And it's not true. It's not true. Fabian Barkley played well, and they stopped running plays for number 26. Let's see here. Zacatech says Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. No, Sam Darnold. I couldn't remember who it was. Sam Darnold, the bad jet quarterback. I got 20 minutes driving. I can join a little late. I didn't know you were related. Well, Barkley himself said they stopped passing plays for number 26. I'll drop the link in a minute. Let's see here. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world who have ever played football have to realize there's only 1 to 2 plays for every scenario. It's not a constant pass. It's a concept. Well said. Actually, that is very well said and very well articulated. The Zacatech says the fact Daniel Jones has not thrown multiple touchdowns since 2019's 48 games is a highly concern for everyone. He has not thrown 3 touchdowns since his rookie season in 2019. And Tommy DeVito came in game. What was his first game? First game as a starter. Big L said, I would let Tommy DeVito start second game, start next season, because I can't the job over DJ if he finds people downfield, which DJ can't. You're right. Where's James? Are you in his house? Are you in the chat, James? I need to see James. If you're in the chat, I'm posting the link. I need to see my brother. So if you're in the chat, James, jump on into the link. Did we ever get the Vegas line on this game today? Do we have the Vegas line? Bruce, I haven't seen Bruce in a while. I haven't seen you outside of quarterback. What other prospects do you think we should draft? I mean, I think the top consensus is offensive lineman. I think that's the top consensus. What's his name? The kid the tackle out of Notre Dame. You could go with the tackle. What's his name? Joe Alt. You could go with him if you plan on moving. Evan Neal to guard. I think he's high. I think he's pretty highly overrated. Not highly overrated, but I think he's pretty high up. It's funny if you're not going to go with the pass rusher, but I like, what's his name? I like Chop Robinson out of Penn State. If he's available, I mean, he would be available, but he's another guy. You got that big tackle out of Oregon. I can't remember his name, but he looks good at times as well. I mean, where do you go? Where do you go, my lovely? You got the kid Mims, the other tackle out of Georgia. I like him. I mean, I think, like I said, if you don't go quarterback, do you really reach into the offensive line pool again? You might have to. Yeah, and honestly, you know what? You may also have to reach back into cornerback. You looks like you got a stud in Banks, but you need to put someone next to it, next to Banks. And I like that kid out of Penn State. What's his name? The corner King. Good athlete. He's got, if you watched him play, he's got, I mean, he can close. He makes mistakes, but he has the speed to close. And I think he's one of those guys that's intelligent enough to fit into multiple streams. Coach Dave, I don't know. Coach Dave, I don't think we've ever met in person. I'm going to add Coach Dave. Coach Dave.
Here we are. The man, the
on?
myth, the legend, Coach Dave. How's it going, buddy?
It's going well, man. I don't think we've ever chatted in person before.
We have not ever chatted, man. I love your content. You're one of the true speakers in this giant sphere of fanship that we have going on. Everybody else is spewing manure. Not everybody, but
not everybody.
A lot of people.
There is a lot of, like they say, do out there in some of the community.
Yeah, and Twitter is just a wasteland. I seen a guy 2 nights ago after Bo Nix threw the duck crossbody telling people we need to watch more film because Bo Nix is the real thing.
I don't want to ask.
Yeah.
I don't even want to. So, Dave, since we haven't talked a lot, I mean, how long have you been a suffering Giant fan?
Well, I've been a Giant fan since '88.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been a Giant fan since '88. Some of my fondest memories as a child is me and my brother watching the Giants getting yelled at by our parents for being too loud. So, like, I still remember the Matt Barr field goal. I still remember, like, all of this stuff like it's yesterday. The Bills missing a field goal for us to win the Super Bowl. Leonard Marshall crushing Joe Montana, like everything. So, like, I'm a Giant historian.
So you were in '88. So you had the pinnacle in '90.
Yep.
You know, with Matt Barr, and then you kind of ran into the buzzsaw known as the Ray Handley era.
Yep. So
you have a good pulse because you went, you had the Handley, you then had the Dan Reeves, and then we went through the wasteland a little bit. So you've been through like
Kent Graham, Dave Brown, all of that.
Andy Cannell. So I mean, I'm a lot older in reference to that because I go back to the '76 season. Yeah. But you know the dearth that we're in right now.
Yep. I know it.
Is there now? I know back in the early '90s, we never thought there was a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yep.
For this organization, where do you see the light for this team?
I mean, I think the light, honestly, can be in just drafting the right quarterback. That's going to change the complexion of the organization and how we do things. Honestly, like we need electric. Like we haven't had a dynamic quarterback since Jeff Hostetler.
And Haas wasn't overly dynamic. He wasn't.
He wasn't. And that says a lot for the people I'm talking about.
For those that don't remember Hostetler, it came out of West Virginia. He wanted to play so badly. He played on special teams. He returned punts at times. They used him as a wide receiver. So I would say that he was probably outside of maybe Fran Tarkenton, more of an athlete who had the ability to make things happen outside of his normal skill set.
Absolutely.
And I think to your point, I mean, at this point in time, where do the Giants go for that in the draft?
Jaden Daniels. That's the only way to go.
Now, if Jaden Daniels is not available, because this seems to be the consensus right now, Jaden Daniels, that and Caleb Williams.
Hey, honey, that's nice to see you back. So here's the thing, Jaden Daniels. We can sit at 5 and take Jaden Daniels, but what I'm telling you is Jaden Daniels is going in the top 10.
Okay.
So we could sit at 5, get Jaden Daniels. I'm fine with Caleb too, but I look at Jaden as a happy medium because I realize that Caleb is too much for some of our fans for whatever reason or another. Whereas Jaden Daniels, you have some of the same. Well, you have all of the same attributes without the political stuff they don't like.
Right. The wanting part ownership, the potential. I don't want to say attitude, but the potential immaturity.
Yeah, exactly. Although he hasn't done anything to really get in any trouble, but just the things that people might think that.
Some of the things he's not Josh Rosen-esque when Josh made a lot of those comments at UCLA.
Exactly.
But he's got a little bit. I would think he's got a little bit more baggage Williams does than Daniels.
Yeah, for sure. But like Jaden Daniels, like just look at the body of work. Like we need a quarterback who it's like, okay, we won't focus on the line as much if we have a guy like that because he'll be like a line eraser, for lack of a better word. He'll just cover up a lot of the bullshit. Lamar Jackson's whole time at Baltimore, they haven't had a great line, but you don't hear Baltimore fans talk about line. They
No,
talk
you
about receivers,
never hear
with
about
weapons.
right.
They're like, oh, he's never had a receiver. He never had this. He never had that. We don't ever talk about his line because his line is like, I don't want to call it a non-factor, but it's not. It's not a giant line,
Right.
so to speak, because he's playing a position differently. And I just feel like as an organization, like I tell people all the time, like we've been in purgatory for 10 years. The organization's allowed Eli Manning's legacy to hold us hostage for 3 years. So on top of that, you compounded the injury by giving us another 5-6 years of Daniel Jones. To draft Drake May is the same thing. They're the same person. I watched the North Carolina game yesterday. You said what?
He's like I said, he reminded me a lot of Eli in college.
Yes.
And I didn't watch a lot of film, if really any film on Daniel Jones in college, so I wasn't really, sure. I mean, but a lot of people say that he also reminds them a lot of Daniel Jones.
Yeah, it's the same thing. He played in the ACC, and it's just like, here's my question to you, and maybe you have more intel on this than me. Why is he so cemented as the number 2 quarterback in this class?
I will tell you this: a lot of scouts and a lot of teams, it's always about you always hear it. It's the intangibles.
Mm-hmm.
It's the size, it's the strength, it's the awareness, which I don't see a lot of it in North Carolina because, like I said, I mean, if you look at the North Carolina offense, it's not going to be quarterback centric, sort of like LSU is, but they're relying more on what they would refer to as ability that will transfer better to the NFL. In reference to not only, like I said, his size and his strength, but what they see in reference in the pocket. It's kind of like the Kenny Pickett scenario.
Right.
When Kenny Pickett came out, everyone said he was the most pro-ready quarterback to come out of school because he had 5 years as a starter, and he had the intangibles. He had the athletic intangibles, and I kind of think that's what they're looking at Drake May to have as a traditional. As Caleb and Daniels are not, it's becoming more the norm. But the traditional Tom Brady statuesque, stay in the pocket, look down the field quarterback is Drake May.
That doesn't work for us though as an organization.
It doesn't work anymore as a league.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore. Like I was telling someone the other day, and I was like, ever since you have the modern football era, and then you have the modern quarterback era, we've been trash ever since the quarterback era's really come around. Like we're just allergic to just dynamic players, and I think it goes beyond the quarterback position because it's like, to me, I'm like, are we running an accounting firm or are we running a football team? Like, let's get some bad boys. Everybody's not gonna be a nice guy. Everybody's not gonna be this yes sir, no sir guy. We want them to play football, and it's like this organization is like, nope, unless you want to know, like it used to, like case in point, how we used to have this thing about Notre Dame players. It's just like, what is this? Like, let's come into the modern era. Let's win games. Like the fan base needs something to be excited about at this point. It's just so frustrating.
This is a good question by LJ because we talk about what happened. We talked about what happened with what's going on right now with Drake May. And LJ's question is, why is Caleb so cemented as the number 1 pick?
Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I want you to go.
Caleb Williams is cemented as the number 1 pick because he's extremely dynamic. He's a winner on all levels. When you take him back to all levels of him being evaluated as a quarterback, he's been a winner. He's been better than everyone in his class. He had a year last year that was, when you look at all of the metrics and all of the statistics and everything, he blew everything out the water. Like when you look at evaluating a quarterback, like all of his stats were insane from an evaluation standpoint that they haven't seen before. Then not to mention, we've seen him do it in 2 conferences. We've seen him dominate the Big 12, then we've seen him dominate the Pac-12, as opposed to Bo Nix, who got ran out of the SEC and did good in the Pac-12.
Do you want to add to that, or you need more?
No. Like I think that's perfect. I think that's the best. I think that's the best way to sum it up.
And to add to that, honestly, his statistics and measurables were so insane that I feel like a lot of analysis and experts going into this knew that he couldn't live up to what he did the year before because it was just so crazy.
Right.
It was
I agree. Like LJ says, he sees bust written all over Caleb. I don't see that.
I don't see a bust.
I don't see bust, but I do see a guy that may have more of a difficulty transitioning into the league than that Caleb Williams may have. And I don't see bust, but I also don't see a Patrick Mahomes. I don't see something overly special with that. But I do think that if he puts everything together, and he has the God-given talent.
He's got the skills.
But the problem is this: there's been so many players in this league who has the God-given ability, and at the end of the day, they just don't pan out.
Yeah, but at the same time, we've never seen. Again, when you look back to the statistics that he produced in the film that he put on tape, we haven't seen quite that yet. That hasn't. No. So
there are throws that he makes.
Yeah.
That just boggles the mind.
Yeah, he doesn't need a platform, and then his arm, like he's like whatever he needs to do for his arm to get it in position. It's almost like think Elastic Man, how Elastic Man would just put his arm in any position to do anything. It's the same thing. Like I saw, kind of going on another note, I saw an interesting stat this morning for all-time plays of 20-plus yards, and Jaden Daniels was number one all-time in college with 96.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, and again, like I said, one of the things I do like about Jalen, if you watch him from when he started at Arizona State, where he is now, especially these last 6 games, I've always said, as an athlete, and I was talking this my own experience as an athlete, sometimes the switch goes on.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you start recognizing things that you've never recognized before. They always use the analogy, the play slows down for you. And it's like these last 6 games for especially Daniels that it's like the light switch went off on his head.
Yeah.
And he's playing to, and I think at times he's playing to his own talent.
Yep.
Which is scary, but which is also scary is how many times have we seen great quarterbacks in college not be able to transition that over to the pros? And that's why I think some scouts are more enamored with Drake May, because they'll always tell you that there are certain quarterbacks that are made better, are made more for the pros than they are college. I've heard scouts say that.
I've heard that before, but my problem with that is, as an organization, I'm tired of drafting people based on what we think they can do or what we think they can be and not seeing anything. I don't feel like we've seen enough of, when comparing Jaden Daniels to Drake May, we haven't seen enough from May to say, okay, this guy's a better guy. Like, one of the things that killed me about the Daniel Jones signing, and when they said this verbatim, we're not signing Daniel Jones based on what he did. We're signing based on what we think he can be. How the fuck, excuse my French, can you say that about a professional quarterback 4 years in the league? That is unheard of. I've never heard of anything like that. That was like criminal to even say that, and just ridiculous.
Now, the question is this: we are playing the New England Patriots. We this is battle of the Bad Bowl because of the fact that both teams are just not going to go anywhere as much. Somebody has to win,
right?
By hook or by crook, unless it's a tie, of course, because there's always that possibility. But somebody has to win. What are your thoughts on today's 1 o'clock game?
My thoughts is I want to lose. My thoughts are I don't see, as bad as New England's offense is, the defense is still good, and Belichick still has an unbelievable record against rookie quarterbacks. So I don't think DeVito is going to be the guy to pull a rabbit out of a hat. And then, to your credit as well, he's got some film now, so it's a different. He's going up against something different now.
What's your score prediction?
Score prediction 17-7 New England.
17-7. The coach Dave drops that knowledge. And coach, I'm going to let you go because I got a couple other people I want to.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on. I Have a nice day, buddy.
Well, don't go off yet.
Okay.
You have to give your final thoughts. If you watch the show, you should know this. As always, when we have a special guest come on live with Coach Dave, we're going to call this segment. There's always a closing thought. There's always this information. There's always this pearls of wisdom that you're going to leave us, that we're going to sit there for the next 7 days that are going to hold us over. No, it's going to be longer than that because we got a bye week, that are going to hold us over to that Packer game. What is the Coach Dave knowledge of the day?
My knowledge of the day and my final thought in regards to this organization is, let's hold hands and come into the modern era of football. Let's come into the modern era, people. This is not the 90s anymore. Let's come into the modern era. Let's think different. Let's think forward. Let's be proactive and not reactive.
I like that.
Modern-
Very, 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 very much a Pat Rileyism. I love that, because that is a great point. Let us move into the next era. Let's move into the 21st century. We've been here for a while now. But Coach, I appreciate you coming on. You're always welcome. Anytime you're in the chat on Sundays, whenever we stream, make sure you just hold up your hand. We'd love to have you drop back in again.
All right, man. Have a nice day, buddy.
All right, thank you. You too. Oh, we also have another guest sitting in there. He's driving in his car wearing a Michigan hat. I don't know about that one. Let's see here. Let's go to a couple of these comments. LJ says, true, last year was special. He dropped this year, though, in my opinion. He did a little bit drop this year in reference to Caleb Williams. Caleb needs to be drafted in a ready set system. I don't think like he's going to have the creativity or the creative ability that we want on some of our guys. Yeah, I think you're right. I was going to say something spectacular, but I couldn't remember what it was going to be. Fabian says Jalen is a flying weight of a quarterback, too small. He is 185 pounds. He is a little small. Thoughts on Joe Milton? I don't have any thoughts on Milton yet, to be honest, because like I said, I don't think the Giants are going to head down that direction. LJ says, very true about Jones. Good point, Dave. Albert says, the Giants better lose. That's all I want is a top 3 pick. Fabian also says, all the top 5 hypes, only 2 of them are a bad systems having success, and Penix and May. Good points by the Dave. Embrace the tank. I had a comment about George Young I think it was from Frank, and Frank is right. That's right. I forgot it was Miami that he came over from, but you also have to remember the Giants were going to hire Terry Bledsoe to run the operations at the recommendation of Gil Brandt. And that got disapproved within the organization because Tim Maras, which was the nephew of Wellington, was still working in operations at that point in time. And like I said, George Young maybe wrong, because I will tell you this: Pete Rozelle, George Young, and Wellington have all told the same stories all through the 80s in reference to him not being forced on by the Giants. Like I said, there was the recommendation of Gil Brandt. And I think it was Terry Bledsoe. I can't remember. I want to say it was Terry Bledsoe. We got someone in the car. Got a brand new car. Drive it down the boulevard. Turn the corner because I want to be chilling hard. You're not cool, dude. You can't be Bob. You're not cool.
Ready you go.
You're
my lovely. I was actually just jamming out to that song.
Actually, I was rapping Cool Mo D, but that's okay.
I know. I was talking about before.
So what's up, brother? It's been a while. You still got
been a minute.
Hat on. Is that not ever going to burn off your head? And listen, stop fucking with my man. Stop it.
Ooh. Yeah, why is he always picking on me?
Well, the late great Carl Banks. Not late.
Oh, Carl? I wasn't picking on Carl.
Yes, you were.
For those that do not know, why don't you quickly run down the Carl Banks tweet? And I only saw it because someone sent it to me.
Yeah, I mean, no, so Carl was tweeting and talking about the Deontay Banks, live video in the locker room and stuff like that. And I saw him.
He's young.
And I saw him on his him show with Bob Papa. And, he was saying, things like, people aren't into the live thing and whatnot. I made a video, rebuttaling him, wasn't like being disrespectful. It was like having a respectful response and just saying, look, I think you're an old head, you're an OG, which is understandable. You come from a different era. But I just said, in today's day and age, everything is driven off of social media. You have people that make TikToks, they go live on TikTok, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. That's just how this generation of of people, relate to some of these younger players who are part of this generation. And I said, if you and LT and all of these guys were playing in today's generation, today's NFL, you would be going live on Instagram or on whatever
Right,
and
because
doing your.
it's the culture.
It's what it is.
Right.
Now, I told him, I said, if you want to, if your concern is like that there are conversations that could get overheard in the locker room that are private conversations among players, then I agree with that, and that's something that he needs to take into account. But I don't have an issue with him going live, and because at the end of the day, and I said this to him in the video too, like people stream and have podcasts that are players. Von Miller streams on Twitch, plays Call of Duty, and he talks about players and teams and the game and everything like that.
But do you think it's more of what the content was? Because last time I checked, you had Saquon Barkley and Tom DeVito stream live from the field after the win.
Yeah, I mean, like, they were streaming live.
Do you think more was what he said than what he did?
I mean, look, he talked about, I know that he mentioned, the fact that Washington passed him up. That to me is the only questionable thing. Like him talking about, did 17 play today? That's just trash talk. Like, I mean, like that to me is trash talk. But I think the only thing that you could put into question in what he was saying was maybe that he was upset that Washington didn't take them when he was sitting there at 16, and he fell all the way to the Giants, and he wants him to play or whatever. But at the end of the day, like Randy Moss, when he was drafted and passed up by all those teams. My bad, go ahead.
But Deontay Banks, if you listen to him and I don't really follow him on social media, but people always send me snippets from him. He's been saying for weeks now, if he's covering a star wide receiver, did X even play today? This is not something new. This is not something he all of a sudden just said. He's been saying it for 7-8 weeks, if not more.
Exactly. And like I said, I think the only thing that if Carl maybe could put into question was the fact of him voicing maybe him being upset that Washington was sitting there at 16 and he was there and he didn't take him. But back in the day, Randy Moss was passed up by I don't know how many teams, and he publicly went out. This was before social media. This was before you could go live. This was in interviews and saying, I'm going to make all of those other teams regret not drafting me. I don't see that being any different.
Well, Randy Moss had issues at Marshall, which was his talent. I don't think was ever questioned. And I don't think Deontay Banks' talent was questioned, but I think that's a different scenario because, like I said, Randy had issues in Marshall. He was would not be referred to as a solid citizen.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, now, whenever you talk about, like, whenever the NFL talks about Randy Moss, they highlight that. Like him saying, like, you hear it in like little highlights or in little clips, I'm going to make all of those teams pay, because obviously he's a Hall of Famer. He had a great career, right? And I think, like, if Devontae Banks goes on, and has a Hall of Fame career, right? People are going to look back on him saying, like, oh, you know what? All of those teams that passed up on me, Washington was there, especially if every single year he's playing Washington, he's just locking up their receivers and nobody can do anything against him. I don't have any issues with him talking. At the end of the day, people have a right to their own opinion and how they feel. And I don't see him any different as far as maybe going on an interview. And if you don't have, because there are some people in this fan base that didn't have an issue with what Odell said in the Justina Anderson interview some time ago, because he was just voicing his opinions. Right. Well, what's the difference between him going live and saying it about how he feels about Washington, or sitting down with Justina Anderson and Justina Anderson asking him the question, like, does it bother you that your hometown team didn't pick you? And he says, yeah, I mean, like I don't see any difference there. Like, he's on his own platform, he's on his own thing, doing it. I don't have an issue with it at all.
I don't see an issue. And those that are joining us, we are live from the R0 B-Mobile. And we're sitting here. We have the game, of course, today. We have to have the game. Where's he going?
I got to get out of the car. I'm going to donate, so I got to get out of the car.
we had the proverbial crotch shot, because you always have to have that on live television. What's your pick for the game today?
Well, I want us to lose, because we need to lose. So I think my pick today, I'm hoping that the Patriots win. I think it's going to be a close game because I think both offenses are stagnant. I think it's going to be something like 10-7, something like that, a low scoring game. Couple of turnovers. I think New England's going to get a couple of turnovers and whatnot, and it's going to be a long game for us.
Well,
I gotta mute myself for a minute.
I think that about sums it up. Or you're coming out and going in. What are you doing? We still see you here. As long as your hands, that's my thing. I don't even need to use my hands. I just go like this. All right. Well, Rob, we're going to let you go because I want to jump into a couple other people before we get out of here. We're going to remove the R0 beat for a little bit here while he's got some technical difficulties and things. And I want to go through a few others. Michael, what's up, Big Mike? As long as it's not Jones next year, I don't know. At this point, I can't watch this anymore. Fabian says draft a quarterback, keep a draft quarterback, keep Jones under center for the restart build. It's the only way. Zach says if Kayvon did that, we would have defended him. That is true. If Kayvon would have done that, we would have defended him quite easily. I think we have another guess, but I can't see. Is he there yet? I see the hat. I see my friend. I haven't seen him in a while. We're gonna drop him live from the RG Mobile. We're going to someone I haven't seen in a while, and it's not Cool J, but he represents Queens. I was raised out of Brooklyn. It's the Big LJ. What's going on, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Hold on. You are. Let's see. You got to unmute the mic. Your mic. There you go. Now we can hear you.
Hey, how's it going, Tim? Yeah, man. It's been a minute.
It's been more than a minute. It's been a hiccup. It's been a minute. It's been an hour.
Yeah, it's been a few minutes. Yeah, I started. My work schedule changed, so I started getting on X, and then I realized that, oh man, I was losing brain cells. So I said, let me come back over and, get back with my buddy Tim, man. Always talking the truth, good, bad, or indifferent. You know what I mean? And gotta appreciate that.
I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it a lot. You are the consummate Giant fan. You're one of the OG Giant fans. You've seen this mess that we're in right now. I want to talk about the New England game real quick. What's your thought process today? What's your best case scenario? What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's not going to happen?
I think I'm kind of on the same kind of going the same angle as Rob. Although I am a Giants fan, I think us putting together a string of wins would be detrimental. So I do want us to lose. And I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think there'll be turnovers on both sides. And I'll probably say we'll probably be 13-10.
Okay.
Maybe something along those lines. The only thing that would change that is if we get a couple, like a pick six here or there. Special teams shows up, so maybe we put another 7 on the board either way.
Screws it up again. Same with the special teams.
Right.
With turnovers.
Right. Exactly. But if it's I could see Belichick, especially if Dexter Lawrence is not going to be in there. I could see Belichick running the ball 25, 30 times a day, without a problem, and he'll do it happily.
I don't know if their running attack is. I mean, they don't have the best running attack.
That's true.
So I mean, I'm not overly. Here's the thing about New England's offense in general. I'm not scared by the running game, which in turns I'm probably going to put 7-8 in the box and make the Zippo.
Beat us. True.
Beat us. 'Cause I'm not really afraid of their passing game either. So, and I do think that the defense that Wink runs has its moments when they're not giving up 40. That they can put it together and look like a top 15 defense.
Absolutely. And that'll probably be a big deal today. those wide receivers are going to have to beat our corners. They aren't great wide receivers.
No.
The quarterback is going to, be confused the same way DeVito is going to be confused by some Belichick looks on that front seven. Who's coming, who's not coming. But you did mention something earlier that I totally agree with. I think there's going to be a lot of batted balls. I think that, those the hands up in that U shape is going to be a lot of batted balls. Especially if we're trying to do the short passing game, that 5 to 7 yard passing game to give us favorable second and third down yardage. There could be a lot of balls batted.
I do see that as I think that's something, and honestly, that's something I didn't even mention. In the short game, there could be more of an issue, like I said, with his windup, because of the fact that you are normally in the short game, especially on a screen, you're normally letting the rush come in, so you can have those, gentlemen off to the sides by themselves, because you're letting the rush come forward. You have your running back or your tight end or your wide receiver or wherever else you're going to flick it out to. So you're kind of allowing them in, so you can throw it out and gain the advantage.
Right.
And with this type of windup, I think bad things can happen quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, he's definitely not going to let Saquon run. He's going to be shadowed and followed, just like every other team does. It's like every other team does, even when we had Daniel Jones or now Tyrod Taylor or DeVito. For some groups of Giants fans who don't think that Saquon Barkley is an intricate part or a very, very important part of this offense, they're mistaken. I know he's a running back, so he doesn't touch the ball every single down, every single offensive play, but he's incredibly important to the success the success that Daniel Jones had in the few games that he did have, especially that Arizona game in the second half. The only reason that Hodges was open in the middle for the touchdown is because the safety came down and bracketed Saquon Barkley. The only reason Daniel Jones was able to fake the RPO to Barkley and have a clean run to the end zone is because everyone literally followed Saquon Barkley.
Followed Saquon Barkley over. We have another guest, but first I got to get to Johnny Wishbone. Here's Mr. Belford's battling the flu. We all know about the flu.
Johnny Wishbone, psychic extraordinaire. Johnny Wishbone, and my tongue run.
That's for you, Mr. Belford. I got another guest that wants to drop in, and another OG. And you know LJ, man, because it's not a filter. It's not a. It's not one of those lighter. It's not one of those vapes. I see an old school cigarette there.
Hey, man, it's probably the worst habit in the history of the world, Tim. I've been trying to quit for literally 20 years.
Listen, vaping, they'd say, is worse than smoking just regular cigarettes because of the iron that is going into your lungs from
absolutely.
So you know what? The OG knows best. And speaking of OG, we're going to bring him in because it's always time. It's always the party. It's
busy.
What's going on, baby? What's going on? How's everybody doing? I'm about to go get me a left-handed cigarette right now.
I was going to say,
I hear you.
The T-Brad jumps in and the LJ. All we need is James. And I don't know where the hell. I've sent the link to James like 15 times.
Go blue. Go blue. He's still in mourning. You know what I mean? It's go blue time. You know what I'm saying? Michigan. Yeah, you know what? They was ranked ahead of us for 1 week. I hope they enjoyed that. But at the end, it's go blue. You know what I mean?
I don't. Yeah, I think you're right. I think with the Ohio State loss, I think.
Ooh, that hurt.
And James, I dropped the link in the chat again. But I do think it's crushing to Winston Williams right now. T-Brad, we were just talking about this game today. LJ says he doesn't want to win. But even on that regards, he thinks that the Belichick is going to take advantage of the rookie quarterback again. What is the T-Brad philosophy today for the 1:00 game against New England? What's going to happen today? What's your predictions?
Give the fan. I can't predict anything. This team, you never know. But one thing I'll say is I don't necessarily believe in losing games to win because you can still tank the pick. You can still mess the pick up. Look at Daniel Jones. I'm sorry if I hurt some feelings. I'm sorry if I hurt some feelings. Some feelings were hurt. But you still can mess the pickup. You know what I mean? And you had a brother on earlier talking about Caleb Williams and Drake May, and they can still mess up. And I disagree with that brother on Drake May. I think Drake May is really the goods, really the goods. He lost a wide receiver, but that's another thing. But I don't think you lose games. I think you play to win the game because you set a losing mentality for next season for everybody that's sitting there. If they're actually deliberately trying to lose games, if we lose, yeah, our draft position goes up. That's cool, but do we really think that the Giants are going to draft Caleb Williams? So that puts us down to one quarterback. And I'm speaking of the color component
Right.
with Caleb May, with Caleb Williams. I'm sorry. And not only that, outside of color, Caleb Williams is shown to be overly emotional sometimes. He's very good, but at the same time, everybody can't handle that New York Giants pressure and media and all that. Everybody can't just tune it out and just play the game and be like, F y'all. Because Eli Manning, if you just look at him, he doesn't look tough. He doesn't look like somebody who would deal with New York, but he did it fine.
Yeah.
He did it fine.
He's the he's the Southern boy all the way over from New Orleans. He didn't he had the twang. You didn't think he was going to handle the media.
Outstanding.
And here's my thing, and I think I'm gonna ask LJ. My thing is with Drake May right off the bat. It just reminds, and I'm curious what you about to say. I'm gonna ask LJ first. Drake May right off the bat reminds me way too much of Eli Manning / Daniel Jones. A 6'5", a big 6'5", statuesque quarterback who stays in the pocket, looking down the field, looking like he has the NFL talent to make it happen. And to Coach Davis' point, we're kind of not moving forward into the way football is being played now. We're kind of looking at the way we played with Phil Simms, and then Eli Manning, and then Daniel Jones. Will the Giants think that Drake May or JJ McCarthy are a better option than for Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams?
That's a great question. And I'll just answer the Drake May point first. The few things that I did see when I did watch some of his film, but of course, you type in highlights and you watch his highlights, so you get all the good and you don't get the bad, But the good that I did see is that his pocket presence is way better than Daniel Jones.
Right.
His maneuverability in the pocket, 2 steps right, 1 step up, 2 steps to the left. I think that's way better than Daniel Jones showed on his tape coming out of college.
Right.
And I also I think that he has sneaky athleticism. He's not fast. He's not gonna, run by cornerbacks and things like that. He's not, but he'll get you, the 5 yards when he has to.
Right.
He'll slide. He'll run out of bounds. He's a great thrower on the run. He knows how to square his shoulders parallel to the target. Nice, accuracy on the run, which when you have an offensive line like ours, you're going to need to have that skill. I think
you know who else is a great thrower on the run? I just thought about this. This is a guy who's also a great thrower on the run.
Hey,
it's the James Williams.
Yeah, I knew I'd get him on here. Go Blue.
Damn it, Brad. Damn it, brother.
Hey, it was a good game, though. It was a good game. It didn't come down to any controversy. It was a good game. I'll take it.
It was a good game for Michigan.
Good win for Blue this year. Good win for Blue. I always give props.
Michigan. Not as bad as Ohio State, though.
Damn it.
After 8 years of y'all beating us up, I'm gonna enjoy this.
You gotta
Yeah. Nah, for real. I've been fortunate that there's been a few years where we were on top. So, everything balances out in life. So, and I hate Kyle McCoy. I don't like it. I don't like it. But good
He
win.
played good though.
Yeah.
You know what? Y'all should have targeted Marvin Harrison more. Anytime you went to Marvin Harrison, it was a play. I don't know how you have a player that good and do not target him like 15 times a game. I'm sorry.
Easy. In a game of this magnitude, easy. 10, 12 targets. Easy.
Yeah. He had like 9.
Kind of like Daniel Jones. We get him these weapons and he doesn't throw to them. So I don't know. I don't know football anymore, man. This has been a horrible football year for me. I'm so depressed.
Mr.
I'm sorry for Daniel Jones because he's set on to that. Not his fault.
It's not nothing's ever Daniel Jones' fault. We all know that. James,
Ever.
we were just talking about this game. We were talking about what's going to go on. What's your thought process against this game with the vaunted Tommy DeVito going against the Belichick?
I hope that Bill Belichick doesn't try to outsmart us, and instead of putting a good game plan together, he puts a crappy game plan together on purpose, just so we can beat them. Because that would be a real crappy.
We will.
Like,
that is Belichickian. That would be Belichickian.
You know?
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
People be like, "Oh man, like Tommy DeVito looks good," and Belichick's just be sitting there in a hoodie, like, "Yep, yes, he does.
Yep, looks good."
Yep.
Looks good. I can see Belichick with a 20-yard field goal to win, and he goes victory formation because Joe Judge is there. So I mean, there is that possibility.
Give me a sec, guys. I'll be right back.
All right, no problem.
We gotta.
The fact that he got hired again is crazy.
Yeah, the fact that he gets another job. I mean that.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean that.
You said we have to lose the game.
We have to lose this because, last week, beating Washington, like I'm happy for Danny DeVito. Like he's a quarterback, he's a pro. He has that game film that he can always show his kids, his grandkids. Hey, I beat the
Danny DeVito hasn't done much since Twins. Are you talking about Tommy?
you know I'm talking.
He will always be Danny DeVito on this channel. He's always Danny DeVito.
You know what I'm talking about, brother Brad. But now we gotta lose this, yo. I watched I know the dude, you guys talked about it earlier, the dude Daniels from LSU, his stock is rising. I know people like Bo Nix, whatever, but Penix looked good as usual. Caleb is Caleb. I love the Drake, but we have to lose. If we win this game, I'm gonna start worrying about, because I love Ohio State, but I do not want to draft Marvin Harrison in the first round. I don't want a wide receiver. We don't need a wide receiver that's never gonna get the ball. Not going to do anything, So we have to get a quarterback.
So what you're saying right now is we need to pull an Ohio State and lose today.
Yes,
that's what we need to do.
As much as that hurts me, with my brother T. Brad right there. Yo, I love that hoodie too. T. Brad. Love that hoodie.
Oh yeah, Low End Theory, one of my favorite albums.
Low End Theory classic.
But I'm gonna disagree with you there, and I'm gonna tell you why. If we pick 1, 2, or 3, and the top 2 quarterbacks are off the board, I don't believe in reaching for some of these other people. And Jay Daniels, he's growing on me. I know he's having a crazy season, but he's got good wide receivers. When I look at Drake May, I like him a lot. I compare him to Sam Howell, and how much would we love to have Sam Howell right now? Sam Howell was supposed to be a first or second round pick. But he lost his wide receivers, and then he had a bad year, and then he got hurt. And Drake May, he lost Josh Downs this year, so his numbers aren't what people wanted him up to be. Wide receivers play a point. So if we're out of the Caleb Williams, Drake May situation, I have no problem taking Marvin Harrison Jr. He's the only player I would take over a quarterback at that particular point. And the only reason I say that is, if the first 2 good quarterbacks are off the board, the first 2 supposed can't miss people are off the board, why not get a player who has a higher ceiling and then see if we grab a quarterback? Whatever happens, we have to get a quarterback within the first 2 rounds.
So wait,
even if we trade back into the first round to grab him.
Marvin Harrison, who's the quarterback you're taking then?
That depends on who drops. Now, I like Bo Nix. I like Daniels, but I don't think with the type of season Daniels has, he will not go to second round. So I think we have 2 second round picks. I think we trade that in the first and get back up in that first round and make a move. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way we can do it. Like, are we going to be cashing in on these second round players to be studs? No, we need a quarterback, and that's just what it is. Like even earlier when you were talking and y'all were talking about if we don't go quarterback, what position we should go. I believe we need to go wide receiver more so than offensive line. How many first round picks are we going to dump into this offensive line to be the same way? Eventually, we got to coach him up.
If you have Danny DeVito and Daniel Jones and this offensive line, how are you going to get the ball to the wide receiver? We can't get the ball to Jalen Hyatt.
Word.
That's fine.
I mean,
that's fine.
At times is sitting there, and even we've seen Wandale Robinson and other people sitting there waving their hands.
Yeah, I get that because
throw to me, okay? I can catch it. I really care.
What I'm doing is I'm setting it up for the next quarterback who will be there next year. Like not this year, whoever we draft this year, and I don't care if we get the first overall pick, is not going to play much the next year. They're going to let him sit.
They should.
You know, they're going to let him sit. Let Daniel Jones go out there and get killed. Let Daniel Jones go out there and get killed. Pull this guy out at the right time. And then eventually, like maybe they're going to have line deficiencies or whatever. But at least, and I think Miami Dolphins are doing his best, at least if you have speed all over the field, you don't have to hold the ball that long. Because Tagovailoa, they were looking at him as possibly being a bust for a second until he got all them fast wide receivers around him. Now the offense is crazy.
Now, LJ.
Speed is a mother.
LJ, talk to Red down a minute about this Marvin Harrison thing.
All right. I'm not going to talk him down, but
here we go.
I want, you know,
we got lots.
To me, because this was a conversation I had, you know, with a few guys as well. Once the big two quarterbacks come off the board, and then we don't either trade a few spots back and we just take Marvin Harrison right then and there, the line to jump back up into that first round or to move up is going to be ridiculous. There's so many teams that need quarterbacks right now. There's so many teams that don't have their franchise quarterback. So, yeah, we can get Marvin Harrison because he's a once-in-a-lifetime wide receiver talent. But I think just because we have 2 second-round picks, if we think the price is going to only be 2 second-round picks to get back up in that mid-first round or a legitimate first-round spot to grab a quarterback, I don't think so because the line to get up and grab a quarterback is going to be so long that, you know, and as much and as crazy as it sounds, I'd much prefer if unless Dable and Shane have a quarterback that they're like, we're going to sit him for the year regardless. We're going to have Tyrod and Daniel and DeVito. Oh, well, I don't even know about Tyrod because he's not signed.
Yeah, somebody got to go. Yeah, somebody got to go.
You know, unless they have that quarterback in mind that they're going to, you know, sit regardless, I'd rather them trade back a little bit. You know, I'd rather them trade back to maybe
like that
5 or 6.
too.
You know
I like
what I mean?
that. I like that, but so you saying like 5 trade back? Now we're getting capital, and now are we taking like a Penix Jr., who's probably like my third person?
So, yeah,
or do we take a Jay? Like we take whoever we think the best quarterback is.
I think
we could argue who it is.
Though, and I think this is a good point, and this is kind of what I brought up earlier. There are so many quarterbacks in this draft. There are so many quarterback needy teams. This is kind of like the '83 draft with the Elway, the Marino, the Kelly, the Blackhead, the Tyson.
And don't forget my boy Sam Hartman. I still believe in it.
And then you also, I think Notre Dame's like, I don't know what the hell we were thinking. But also going back to like the 2004 draft, there's so many quarterback hungry teams right now. If we do make that pick, and to LJ's point, if we don't trade down out of the first round and get something more towards either the beginning half of the second or into the bottom half of the third, we may not get the choice of quarterbacks that we want. We may be stuck with X because other teams have moved into position to turn around. And with so many teams like the Bears and Cardinals sort of not needing a quarterback, they can play their hands and have certain teams jump up into that spot, build the capital.
It may be us.
It could be us. I hope it is us.
We got a good relationship with the Bears. It'll be us.
Hope we call Brian Foles and listen, let's get that first pick. But
we have a very good professional relationship with the Bears.
I just get concerned that we go through this. We take something that's not a quarterback, and then we hope that we're going to get something later in the draft and then find everyone that we had on our board, even if it's a JJ McCarthy or a Bo Nix, gone.
Yep, because the asking price is just ridiculous. They're gonna want the 2 seconds regardless. They're gonna definitely want the 2 seconds if you're trying to move back up, especially if they think you're gonna take a quarterback. Then they may want something next year as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know it's hard to pass up on. Marvin Harrison Jr. Man, I know it is, but when you look around the league,
I like Keon Coleman too.
Jamar Chase is out there, one of the best. He don't got nobody to throw him the ball. You know what I mean? So your wide receiver is really only as good as the guy that's throwing him the ball. Your quarterback can make wide receivers look better than they are, but your wide receivers can make quarterbacks look better than they are. But that quarterback has to give them the ball.
And you go back. You go back a couple drafts. Marvin Harrison.
And I'm liking your logic. I'm seeing your logic. I'm not even disagreeing. I'm like, yo, that makes valid points. Valid points.
You go back a little bit and you look at those skilled players that were supposed to be transcended of the game. I go to Kyle Pitts. He doesn't have a quarterback. He's got injury problems. He's been in the league for 3 years and he's only got 131 receptions, and 68 of them came in 1 year. But if he doesn't have someone to get him the ball, you could be the greatest skill position player in the world. But if you take someone that high and you don't have a quarterback that even can see him or get him to him, there's no reason.
Problem.
Like I said, because I heard that Kyle Pitts was going to be, and what's his name, Hawkinson, is now turned into that tight end that Kyle Pitts was supposed to be.
Yeah, dude, look at Sam Laporta first year, crushing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, real quick on Atlanta, they've got. I hope their general manager got fired. And I say this for all Giants fans: how in the world did they take Bijan Robinson over Jalen Carter?
Yeah.
Now we got to deal with him.
Yeah.
My bad. Go continue on. I had a little private rant.
Absolutely right.
That's okay, because we got to log out of here anyways because we got the game on it, and I also got the Knicks on coming up soon. I want to go around the circle. I want to start with LJ. I know we're score predictions a little bit, but I want to get the LJ final thought for this Sunday going into the going into this New England game.
I hate to say it, but I hope we lose. Like really, I mean, I'm sorry to say that. I know Giants fans.
Your mind is on a big picture. You're thinking big picture.
It's Sunday. I'm Giants geared down, but it is all about the big picture. For us to pick up a couple insignificant wins and move us lower in the draft pecking order, it just doesn't make sense. Somebody said something earlier. Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas are still battling injuries. Why are they? Are we? Sit those boys down, man. We just gave both of them the contracts for the next 4, 5, 6 years. Let those boys sit.
Protect your investment. Protect
your investment, man.
Yeah.
Protect your investment,
and that's not tanking. That's smart business.
And go Big Blue, not only today but in the future. Future. So
I feel you.
That's my thoughts.
I love it, and like I said, LJ's been, let's not make it so long next time. Let's make sure you can drop in when you can, because we always like having your information. I'm gonna drop you out because I'm gonna go to T-Brad. But thank you, like I said, good to see you again.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, brothers. Appreciate the perspective.
Absolutely.
All right, T-Brad, you're next. You're next on the block here.
And with the prediction for the game, we're gonna win.
We're gonna win. What are we winning at?
We're going to win 31-21. 31-21. Hold on one second. Yeah, 31-21.
Hold on. Check the feed.
Hold on.
I had to call some people. 31-21.
31-21. And what's the T-Brad final thoughts for this Sunday?
As a Giants fan, I've always thought, like the brother was thinking, just lose at this point. Just lose. You know what I mean? Get the best draft pick. But now I'm just like, I don't want to watch my team lose. I actually sit down on Sundays. Now, if we lose, am I hurt? No, I think the draft. But I don't want to sit there and be like, yeah, that's right. They kicked their ass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, someone talked to me about that, and I said, you know what? Yeah, that is right. I shouldn't be ever sit by the team like, oh yeah, did you see how we got ran over? Yes, they just scored on us again. I can't root for it that way. If it happens organically, so be it. But I think we're going to win. I think Belichick is playing the smart man's game because I'm speaking on emotion. That's actually the smarter thing to do. But emotionally, I can't do it that way. So with my emotions in the football, I say let's just go out here, win these games, and Belichick's going to play the smart way. He's going to go out here and take this game.
Yeah.
The quarterback's going to be Cunningham, who the guy from Liberty,
No,
Malik Cunningham. That's who's going to be. That's going to be the quarterback.
from Louisville.
Yes. There we go. Malik
Louisville.
Cunningham will be the quarterback.
From the Louisville Flash is going to come in and play quarterback over the Zippo lighter. T-Brad, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate it as always.
Thanks for having me, brother. Good hanging out with y'all.
You are always welcome. So I'm going to drop you off so I can talk.
Hail to the victors.
There we go. I love it. You know what's funny, James? James called me last night, and I was nice because I didn't bring up the Ohio State game. I didn't even mention it.
This is how serious the rivalry is, when you actually have a real rivalry, because we're not rivals with anybody in our division. We suck in the NFL, but like Ohio State is still gonna go on and probably play in a bowl game. So, and it's like, I don't even care.
Right? They only have one loss.
They're still like a top team. And it's like,
it's not like are they going to be in championship consideration? Yeah, still, it's only one loss.
They still are. Depending on what happens.
It's not like the season's done. It's not like we're done. We're just going to pack it in now. We lost one game.
Yeah, but it feels that way because it's Michigan, and because, like Brother Brad has said, they've had the upper hand the last couple of years. So it's like it just feels like. They took a poll and they asked a lot of Buckeye fans before. They said, what would you rather have? Would you rather beat Michigan and then lose the national championship, or lose to Michigan and then still go on and win the national championship? You know what most people said? They'd rather beat Michigan and not win a national championship, because that's how rivalries really work.
Well, and that just proves us that academically, Ohio State is stupid.
Hey, it's okay.
I'd rather have the national championship.
I'll take that. You know what? I'll take that. I rather sometimes beat the guy on my block, and then I'll worry about.
But here's the bigger question: would you rather beat the New England Patriots or get Caleb Williams?
No, see, I hear what Brother Brad said, and he's right. Like it's hard to sit here for 3 hours and get drunk and messed up and enjoy.
That's pretty easy.
And no, but it's hard. No, it's hard to sit there to get drunk and then watch bad football.
Yes.
That's all we've been doing all year. This has been a bad year for football. I can't even switch to my whole plan this year was, well, I'm going to watch the Jets because they're going to have Aaron Rodgers, and at least I'll be able to watch them. No, that crapped the bed too. So this has been a bad year for football in New York, and I can't do it, man. I know it's sacrilegious as a man and as a sports fan and as a purist, which I am, but I cannot root for them to win today. I cannot do it. I just can't. What we've had to witness out here this year, my God, it's honestly, it's been worse than the Joe Judge era, man. It's been worse, man. In a lot of ways it has. And we need a quarterback, because you can have the prettiest car, but if you don't have the right engine, you're not going anywhere. So we got to get a quarterback.
On that point, though, I think Sir Mix-a-Lot said it best. My hoopty's rolling, tailpipes dragging, heat don't work, and my girlie keeps nagging. 6'9" Buick Deuce keeps rolling. One hubcap, 3 got stolen. So you have to put it that way. You could have the prettiest car, but you know what? If it doesn't run, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't run, it doesn't matter. So my message is just, I know it sucks, y'all, man. I know, and we got to get through these next few weeks just to end this up. But we got to lose, man. We got to lose. Do you know how crazy it's going to be that Belichick's going to put together his worst game plan in 12 years? His worst game plan in like 12, 14 years. And he's just going to be sitting there like, we look like crap. Yes.
How insufferable will the Giants Twitter be if we are 4-8 going into the bye?
Well, Giants Twitter is always insufferable. So let's just
that's a
say
good
that.
point. You know what? You're
It's
right.
always insufferable. It doesn't matter.
I wasn't thinking about that, I guess.
I have to say, we are like the Hatfields and McCoys, to go real old school. We just can't agree on anything. We're always fighting. And I don't even understand how at this point we're fighting. It should all be about the future. Like brother LJ was saying, like, you guys are talking about, like, we have to think bigger picture, man. Like, I know the players don't want to keep getting their head stomped in, but no offense, you guys been getting your head stomped in all year. Couple more games, whatever, man. A third of these guys aren't going to be here anyway. They're going to be gone. So we have to think bigger picture, man. And in that picture, the quick thing I'll say is we need to get somebody at the quarterback position who has the it factor and is actually dynamic, not just taking the guy that looks the part. And that's not going to say anything deeper than that, but we need somebody who can go out there and actually like show some flash in the pants, and not just the guy who, well, he looks like the back of a Topps trading card, so we should take him.
So we need a Larry Holmes and not a Clooney or Cooney, whatever his name was.
Yeah, no, we need a guy. We need a guy.
He looks like a boxer, but he's not a boxer. And Larry Holmes, the Eastern Assassin, came out and proved that Jerry was not a boxer. If you want to go old school on that thought. And I actually agree with that process. Zach Attack says, attention everyone, on Friday, James will take over Tim's channel for 2 hours, live streaming, previewing the entire
previewing the bye. Oh my God, that's a hard 2 hours back.
That's a hard. I don't even think I'm doing that.
Like, well, guys, we got the bye coming up. Let's talk about, you know what though? Some loser content creators would do that. You guys will see videos out there talking about, well, we have the bye coming up, and this is what the Giants are going to be focusing on during the bye. What are you talking about, man? You guys, it's been such an aggravating year, bro. I know for everybody out there, it feels the same.
We're closing out, but you got to do it for me once.
Oh, you're going to do it? Well, guys, players don't like to lose. They like to go out and win. Who wants to go out and lose? I mean, you guys are talking about tanking. Tanking? That's not what professionals do. Come on, man.
Now do a commercial for Jell-O pudding pops.
Oh no, I can't do that guy.
It sounded like Bill Cosby.
I can't do that guy. That guy's been giving out the wrong pudding pops this whole time. Who knew? He's giving out the spiked Jell-O. Who knew that? Damn it, Bill. Damn it.
Oh, as always, we just end the show with the wrong way. But we're gonna have to end it because it's 12:01. I got the Knicks, I got the Giants, I got a lot of other stuff going on. This is Tim. This is your Giants Straight Talk. This is the venerable James Williams, always coming to give you the best, the information about the Giants we can. And you know what, everyone? We are, as always, out of here.
Peace.